This recording is to show everyone how to download the app for RingCentral from your iTunes or App Store and Google Play Store. For those of you who have an iPhone, this is how you would download the app. You go to the App Store and search for RingCentral. And you want to download the first one, which is RingCentral Inc. and hit open. Now the next one down is RingCentral Meetings, and we can go over that later, but it is more for, if you're doing joint meetings and sharing like presentations and that kind of stuff. And once we get familiar with the new phone system, it's something that we could go over in a couple weeks. So now that RingCentral has downloaded, I already have the app, so I'm going to go out to it on my phone, and I'll bring you to a sign-in screen. Now this is the sign-in that you created on when you received the welcome email from RingCentral. So click the sign-in button and sign in. Sorry it took so long. And now you should be in the app. Now we'll go over some of the features here. As you can see at the top, on the top left is a logo that I downloaded for myself because it was one of the first things that I saw when I was in here. So if I click on that, it brings up my status that I'm available, that I'm not on D&D or anything. I can do data voice over IP calling. Here's call settings. Let's see what that is. Always use voice over IP. I could do it over Wi-Fi. If I choose, if I'm in my house, or if I'm at AJM and I know there's Wi-Fi around, I'd rather use the Wi-Fi so that I'm not using my data plan on my cell phone, for those of you who are going to just use the cell phone and not have home phones, just to keep that in mind. To my iPhone, update my phone, integrate calling. There's just some options here you really don't have to be worried about. Extension settings, I'll go down there. It's probably the same information, and it is, that I have on my portal when I log in to the RingCentral website and log in with my user ID and password there. These are all the same features. Now I have a couple more extra ones here because I'm the admin, so that's why you would see billing and phone system information. And then that's the option to log out. One thing to keep in mind is if you keep your app running and you never hit that log out button at the bottom, your app will always be running. Just so you're aware of that. I'm going to hit the arrow at the top to get back to my other screen. Now there's an all messages area at the top here. If you hit that down arrow, it's basically messages that would be text messages that someone could send you to your DID number, your voicemails that you will have in here, and then any faxes you received. It would all be in this area if you had it set for all messages. And then you could see you can filter it by using text, voicemail, or fax. To the right is a pencil. You could do a new text or new fax just from this spot right here. I hit the ellipse button all the way to the far right. There's 3 dots. It brings up an area where I could join now, which would be conferencing. So let me see if I hit that, what happens. Now, there's no meetings today. So if I had meetings set up, which you can do, they would be in this area. Conferencing. I could hit conferencing here, and there's my numbers. Dial number, host access, participant access. I can send that information out by invite. As you can see below, there's an invite option. I hit invite. I can invite with a text message or invite people with email. It'll send all that information out. Or I can start the conference right now. If I hit the start conference button, it will start. I'm going to hit my arrow back. There's documents here. I guess if there was documents that you wanted to share with other people and maybe even have within the app, you could do that. I'm going to hit the arrow. I hit the arrow at the top. There's drafts, outbox. I guess those things that you might have had previously would be in this area. This is new to me also, so I apologize if I don't know a lot of these features on some of these screens. We're going to go back. Now let's go over the bottom portion of the app. There's a recent option, and these are all the recent calls or faxes or missed calls that you have sent or received would be in this list. You can hit the I on the far right to see more information on it. Pretty self-explanatory in here. You could send a text or send a fax to the person that actually called you, or the call you missed. If I go over to the middle one, which is contacts, it's going to show all my contacts on my phone. The reason why it's showing that is because I was asked a question when I downloaded the RingCentral app the first time. And I hit yes to allow it to grab access of my contacts on my phone. And that's why everything pulled in here. Keypad. One thing that I didn't mention on the last tutorial I sent out, we do not have to dial an 8 anymore when calling out. We can just dial the number. That's a good thing. Even from this app here, I can dial someone's extension and hit the green button, and it will dial the extension. That's a pretty cool feature. So for people who are working from home, you're going to have the option to just use the app or to actually have a phone. Now, the producers will be using this cell phone as their phone working out of their home office. Users who will, I guess account managers who have home phones, you will have the ability to use the app if you want. Now, if you're worried about using up minutes or your data plan on your monthly cell phone bill, you shouldn't have to worry about that if you are in a Wi-Fi area. If you're working from home and your house has Wi-Fi, you just connect to your Wi-Fi and you don't have to worry about using your data plan minutes. It's all included in the Wi-Fi. Or I'm sorry, using the Wi-Fi will allow you not to be using up your data minutes. I apologize. So from here, you could see, it's just a regular keypad like your regular phone, and then there's a from. It has my number, which we know that's not my number, but it will change Friday. If I hit the down arrow, it allows me to change the outbound caller ID. Let me go over that again. So when you're calling from within the app, it's always going to show it's calling from Assured Partners AJM. It's never going to show that it's calling from your cell phone number. And you can change it here of what you want your outbound caller ID to show, or you can block it. So I'm going to hit done. And the last option to the far right on the bottom is GLIP, which is another feature that we'll probably have to go over, and maybe when we get more familiar with the system. It's something where we can do things with teams and collaborate that way, maybe with presentations or, almost like having text messaging within the app with people in your office. So that's a pretty good feature. We can always test it later on. Like I said, this is new. Now, to get back to the screen that I was just at, hit the phone button in the bottom right again, and it brings you back to where we were. So that's pretty much the app. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.